What if you never felt pain again? Not a stubbed toe, not a burn, not a broken bone. Within 13 days, doctors say, an untreated injury you never noticed could already be killing you from the inside. Pain feels like the enemy, but it might be the only thing standing between you and your own body destroying itself without you ever knowing. I'm Nova, and this is Nova Explains What If. And tonight my hand is still tingling from that burner. Real people live with zero pain. It's called congenital insensitivity to pain. And most don't survive past their 20s without knowing exactly why. Here are 8 real stages of a painless life, in order of how fast they turn deadly. Number 8, the unnoticed cut. Right now, without pain, you'd have dozens of tiny wounds on your hands and feet you never registered. People with congenital insensitivity to pain, or CIP, average 3 to 5 untreated skin injuries a month. Your body still bleeds, still risks infection, but the alarm that makes you clean and bandage a wound simply never fires. Doctors call this the earliest reversible stage. Catch it with a mirror and a daily skin check, and nothing's lost. Skip that check for even 2 weeks, and a shard of glass left buried in your heel becomes a hidden abscess. This is the point of no return for stage 1. Once infection reaches the bloodstream silently, what started as nothing becomes sepsis. And sepsis kills roughly 11 million people worldwide every year. Number 7, the silent fracture. Pain is what makes you limp, and limping is what saves a broken bone. Without it, you keep walking on a fractured ankle for days, grinding the brake with every step. This is exactly what happens in Charcot joint disease, where repeated unnoticed stress destroys cartilage and bone until the joint literally collapses out of shape. Doctors have documented patients walking on shattered ankles for over a week before anyone noticed the deformity. The reversible window is short. Set the bone within 48 to 72 hours and it heals clean. Miss it. And the point of no return arrives when the bone remodels itself around the damage, permanently misshapen, weight-bearing wrong forever. One joint replacement away from losing the limb. Number 6, corneal blindness. Your eyes rely on pain more than almost any other body part. A single eyelash on the cornea normally triggers blinking within milliseconds. Without that reflex, people with CIP routinely scratch their own corneas without knowing, and repeated micro-scratches scar the eye's surface over months. The scarring is gradual and reversible early, with protective lenses and constant vigilance. But scar tissue on the cornea doesn't heal like skin. Once it clouds past a certain density, light simply can't pass through anymore. That's the irreversible line. Total corneal opacity, permanent vision loss, in a person who never once felt it happening. Some documented CIP patients lose sight in one eye before age 10, entirely painlessly. Number 5, the silent appendix. Here's a question worth sitting with. How would you know your appendix was about to burst if you never felt the warning cramp? Appendicitis pain exists purely as an alarm. Without it, doctors call this silent abdomen, and it's one of the leading causes of death in documented CIP cases. The organ can inflame, swell, and rupture with zero external sign beyond a mild fever. Reversible right up until rupture. An ultrasound catches it in time. But once it bursts, bacteria flood the abdominal cavity within hours, and peritonitis sets in fast. This single stage accounts for a disproportionate share of early deaths in people born without pain, precisely because nothing hurts until it's already too late to matter. Number 4, quick gut check. Could you tell if your skin was actually burning right now? Temperature pain and touch pain travel different nerve pathways, and in CIP both are usually gone, meaning people have sat on radiators, held boiling pans, and stood too close to fires without any signal to move. Documented case studies describe third-degree burns discovered only by smell. Early on, this is survivable with visible injury monitoring, checking skin for blistering by sight, not sensation. The irreversible line is depth. Once a burn destroys the full dermis layer, nerve endings there are gone permanently, and that patch of skin will never register heat, cold, or pressure again. A literal permanent blind spot burned into your own warning system. Number 3, the broken feedback loop. Here's where it gets deeper than injuries. Pain doesn't just warn you about the world, it teaches your brain caution itself. Children with CIP show measurably delayed learning of which actions are dangerous because the punishment signal that shapes instinct from infancy never arrives. This is reversible in early development through intense supervised behavioral training, rewiring caution through sight and consequence instead of pain. But there's a documented developmental window. Most learning specialists place it before age 7, after which risk avoidance patterns that should be instinctive never fully form. Adults who miss that window don't just fail to feel danger. Some part of them never learns at a gut level that danger exists at all. Number 2, cardiac silence. A heart attack's chest pain isn't incidental. It's the single loudest, most life-saving alarm the human body has, and in people without pain, perception it simply doesn't ring. Silent myocardial infarctions are already documented in diabetics with nerve damage, who have up to 3 times higher rates of undiagnosed heart attacks than the general population. In total pain insensitivity, the risk multiplies further. Early damage to heart muscle is survivable and even partly reversible with fast treatment. But cardiac tissue that dies from oxygen loss does not regenerate. Dead heart muscle turns to permanent scar tissue within about 6 to 8 weeks. Quietly enough that some patients only discover it happened at all during a routine scan years later. And number 1, the one nobody sees coming, the missing death rattle. Pain isn't just a warning about injury, it's the body's final honest signal that something is critically, catastrophically wrong. And without it, the last stage of decline has no announcement at all. Real CIP patients have died from untreated conditions: ruptured organs, undetected fractures turned septic, unnoticed internal bleeding, that in anyone else would have produced unbearable, unmistakable agony for days beforehand. Median documented life expectancy in severe untreated CIP cases clusters shockingly young, often before age 25. This is the true point of no return for the whole condition. Not one injury, but the total absence of the alarm system itself, meaning by the time any visible sign appears, the irreversible damage very often happened days, sometimes weeks earlier. So here's the strange truth. Pain isn't the villain of the human body. It's the narrator, the thing that tells you the story of your own damage in time to change the ending. Every stage we walked through only turns fatal once that narrator goes silent for good. If you had to lose one sense to gain painlessness, which would you actually choose? And why? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone. And if this kind of scenario got under your skin, subscribe to Nova Explains What If, because next episode, we're breaking something else you've never once questioned.